Hello, and welcome to our next session of the Boardroom Discussions. Today we have with us Mr. Roshan Rajadurai, the Managing Director of Hayleys Plantation sector. With over 40 years of experience, he's completing 10 years as the Managing Director. Mr. Roshan, welcome to our session.
And welcome to Hayleys. Morning, Akila.
Good morning to you too. So, for us to start off this session, Mr. Roshan, what would you say is the plantation industry and how it goes glove in hand with the economy?
Right. I think that's a very good question because as I see it, our industry has a history of over 150 years in Sri Lanka. And up until the 1950s, till independence, we were one of the significant contributors to the national income as well as foreign exchange. Of course, thereafter with independence and with nationalization, we have lost that dominant position in the economy of Sri Lanka. But nevertheless, even now, we constitute a very significant segment of the economic life of the country. Why I say that is, we have about 450,000 what we call operators on the ground in the tea smallholder sector. They contribute to 75% of the national crop. Then we have other 25% in what we call large estates or corporate sector, and we host 1 million people in our estates. So overall, about 2.5 million are directly engaged on the growing side, apart from the other supply lines, manufacturing and Colombo operations. So these people are mainly from the high density population districts like the Western, Sabaragamuwa, Central. So in that sense, I think we are a significant employer of the country's workforce and we provide year-round employment. The beauty of the tea crop is that it is a perennial crop. So every day you can harvest and the people engaged can have an income. Unlike, for example, like paddy, which you harvest after 3 months. Only at the harvest time you'll get an income. So I think in that sense, I think Sri Lankan tea industry is very vital to our economy.
Definitely. So then how do you see this industry getting digitalized or going digital? How's the model for that?
I represent basically the production center, like growing and up to manufacturing, and thereafter the brand owners take it to the global markets. But even in the field levels, because of labor shortages and because of the influx of technology, new knowledge and communication systems, there is a significant amount of digitization. The best example I can give for digitization of this age-old industry in terms of the industry lifespan is the almost immediate conversion to the electronic auction system. All these years we had an outcry system where you had to be physically present and make your voice be heard. But with the COVID pandemic, with the restrictions imposed on gathering and meetings, the tea industry was very fast off the mark with all the stakeholders working together day and night. Within a week, we got onto a digital platform and without a break, without any disturbance, the auction system went on, cultivation went on, production went on, tea was transferred to Colombo and exported, and we brought in very vital foreign exchange to the country.
That was very fast digitalization.
Yes, I think that sort of really turned around the situation and made the industry very flexible, very adaptable. And I forgot to mention something. If you look at the tea industry, what is very significant is for every 1 rupee at a producer level that we get at the auction, 95% of it is circulated within the country because you only import some fertilizer and some chemicals. So everything is produced in Sri Lanka. So it's truly a homegrown industry compared to some other industries who depend on overseas supply lines. And of that 1 rupee, 70% goes back to the operators, the workers or pickers, people on the field as wages and other commitments. So 95% is returned within the country. Of that, 70% goes to the workers. So in this way, it's a very inclusive industry for our population in Sri Lanka.
So Mr. Roshan, you just now mentioned an online auction. How did that happen? How did that turn about?
Well, we were talking about online auction. People were preparing for it. That's why we were able to get off the mark very fast. And I think the challenge and the situation necessitated a kind of a quick action because Sri Lanka is a tropical country. We have good rainfall, we have adequate sunshine, and tea is a vegetative crop. So whether we like it or not, it keeps growing, and you have to harvest it in a 6 to 7 days. And then if you harvest it overnight, you have to process it, and next day you have to, or within 2 or 3 days, you have to take it out of the factory to get the fresh leaves and manufacture. So the system cannot be stopped. So to accommodate the system and to accommodate our foreign markets, our production 95% is exported overseas. So people are dependent on tea, and there was a big interest in tea during the COVID because it's proven there are health benefits against infections and reducing the risk of COVID. So there was a renewed interest in consuming tea as a health beverage. So we had to step in and see that the supply lines were not disturbed.
That's nice. So, furthering that into the industry of tea, how did you incorporate e-commerce, and how's that going to benefit in the long run for you?
Right. On the front end, of course, where the brand owners, the packers, the distributors have gone a long way off. I think all or each of them have their very unique e-com platforms. If I step back and go into the growing part, manual entries, and people's cards are marked, they are manually totaled, but we have introduced digital weighing with RFP technology. They have a card, you scan the card, their photo will come on that screen. Then they also have the confidence and the guarantee that they are identified, and to the last decimal weighment is seen, and automatically, simultaneously, real time, it's getting transferred to the payroll package. So the work becomes accurate, it becomes timely, no manipulation, and transparent, and it gives confidence to the workers. They know what our output is correctly recorded. There can't be manipulations by staff, and then we are rewarded for the work that you put in. So that is, I think, one of its kind in all over the world. I believe Sri Lanka gave the lead, and then coming up even HRIS systems and everything is more or less digitized now, and it is a requirement in this day and age, because one thing is it makes everything accurate, transparent, traceable, and speedy.
Definitely. So, do you think that the pandemic gave way to this or sped up the process?
Oh, actually, as you say, the pandemic only accelerated the conversion. We started this journey of digitization about 8 or 9 years back in different degrees, in different intensities. But the digitization really came into full force with the necessity that the pandemic created for people to be, distancing and not having contact. So because we had a digital platform, digital environment, and that kind of a, how shall I say, setup, we were able to quickly get onto the mainstream of it and progress.
So, from your perspective, would that go with the e-commerce aspect?
Yes, I think the consumers, by and large, they want, one thing is they want traceability, then they want transparency, then they want accountability in terms of, now the tea industry, tea is a globally recognized beverage. So the consumers, today's consumer, the young people and even the mature consumers are very concerned about their health, the environment, the governance, human rights, industrial relations. So this digital platform, apart from the commercial aspect of selling, there are other aspects of it where you can use it to promote the good practices, the benchmark practices that you do, and with easy access. At a click of a button, you can get into the company's heart or DNA, as it were.
So, has this helped the supply chain and management issues?
Of
This
course,
progress?
yes. Digitization, as I told earlier, it has sort of cut so many hours on manual work, drudgery, and it has been accurate and traceable. Definitely, there's no question that digitalization has helped the industry from the worker's level, because for the worker, he has the confidence and the assurance that when he comes to work, his day's attendance is recorded accurately, his output is recorded accurately, and automatically in the digital system is paid accurately. So in between, no human errors can creep in, no human manipulation can creep in, and no favorism or whatever. So I think it's a good thing. Mostly this is in our system, in the production system, we targeted the workers so that they have the benefit of their effort or their work on the field.
So you also mentioned that you all had started the digitization about 8 to 9 years back. So throughout this entire process, what kind of challenges did you face, and how did you all overcome that?
Of course, there is always pros and cons, and it was felt that outcry system was more personal, and tea industry is a very inclusive industry that you do business in that way. But while it had its own merits, because it's on contacts, it's on relationships that businesses happen, and on trust mainly. The industry over 150 years, the buyers rely on a small 2 ounce sample that we produced from the estate. So that system worked well up to that time, and we were thinking about speeding up and how shall I say, aligning ourselves with the global marketplace. And of course, the pandemic. I mean, we had no choice. We had to quickly get on board and catch the bus, and as it were, and there lies a success story.
Oh, that's nice. So for the local planters, how's the help or the
Right. As I mentioned earlier, we have our industry, if you really look at it, is two segments. One is a smallholder, which provides 75% of the leaf, and then the large corporate or regional plantation company. So if I call it large estates, that provide 25% of the crop. Now in the smallholder sector, we have about 450 to 500,000 ground level, because that's about 4 times as much as we have in the corporate sector. And they are like plots on an average is about 60 perches. So that is basically sufficient for 1 day's picking. So in that scenario, I don't know how practical, how cost beneficial it is to digitize the whole thing. Maybe people who have a larger block may resort to electronic weighing and some sort of a digital tool to make their operations more efficient and more accurate. But these smallholders with 60 perches and less, I'm talking averages, I don't think it's a sort of a wise thing to go 100% digital this stage. But of course, I must confirm that the factories to whom they supply leaf to, they are all on this digital journey. Digital weighing, electronic weighing systems in the operations. So you have to understand the practical realities of the business, and I think we have gone as far as we can go in this journey. There's always room for improvement in certain areas that we have overlooked.
So if we take in terms of the local planters on the small scale, what if how no to advise them to grow and approach the market and then go global ultimately?
Even digitization, now that you talk of the tea smallholders, they have, I mean, we have very good communication system, and I know TRI has a program where the phones they get a digital message advising on appropriate agriculture and other technologies or techniques that they need to adopt at a particular point of time, and the factories have all their records in the digital form, so they will have a record of the how much leaf they give, how much advance they get. So there is a digital transformation already in place. And as I tell you, always there will be areas that we can go into a wider spectrum of digitization, especially in terms of the field management, because as I told you, it's a highly labor intensive operation where a lot of operations are there. For example, in a large estate, there will be about 500-600 people picking in the field, and that would be about 10-15 gangs. So in the morning they would weigh, and in the afternoon they would weigh, and in the evening they would weigh. Then all these people's operations have to be entered in the books of records, obviously. So a lot of record keeping takes place. So there is no question that digitization is the way to go to reduce the drudgery of the staff and the benefits of accuracy and timeliness and traceability. Because if there's a mistake even, you can trace back and identify where the mistake has occurred.
So these local planters, are they given sufficient knowledge boost to enter the competitive market?
Of course, yes, I can speak of the regional plantation companies because we are corporates, and by its nature, there are sort of specialists in MIS, IT, and those areas. They have adequate knowledge and facilities given in terms of their to facilitate the digitization. But I don't know, as I explained earlier, to what extent to what magnitude the smallholders are covered, particularly in the growing side, but definitely in the factories they are very advanced.
Okay. So now with the digitalization going into e-commerce, there are new technologies coming in through. So how's that knowledge gap bridged, and how do we adapt that new technology?
I think our brand owners or tea packers or tea exporters are way ahead of their game. I mean, other countries are taking a leaf from Sri Lankan exporters because they always talk of our value addition, the quality and the extent and depth of value addition. Even countries like Kenya, they have very good field operational standards, but they are looking at how our exporters have added value and captured significant markets overseas. Because of so many reasons, our productivity on the field is comparatively low. Our labor productivity is very low compared to the other tea economies. As a result, our cost is very high. So you can buy tea in the world market at $2, $2.50, because other countries' productivity is so high that their cost of production is significantly lower. But how do you maintain the grip on global tea markets? Still, we are the auction center that fetches the highest price in the global averages. So there's a speciality in our tea because of the small size of our country, our soil and weather, the way we do picking and manufacture. It's unique. No other country can match because we are small. And our packers have exploited that sort of uniqueness, that differentiation, and placed our teas all over the global markets. And other countries are really taking a leaf from our value addition process. So I'm sure, they wouldn't have been able to do as much as they are doing now without some kind of digital transformation or digital platform or digital assistance.
That's nice to know that they are taking a leaf out of our process from the international market. So, in terms of your experience within the industry, what helped you come here to this position?
Well, that's a long story. After school, I was always interested in outdoor life. I'm talking about 1980s, and there were very limited options for us then. You enter university. Only I believe 1% of people who did A levels entered university then. I'm talking about 1981, 82 during our time. Then you found a job in the mercantile sector in Colombo, or the forces. Then these problems had not started then, or the planting world, which was very attractive and where everybody wanted to go. So I started my career in planting as an assistant manager in the JDB in 1983. So I have come up the ranks, assistant manager, and today I have done 40 years, and I must say that I don't regret a single day. I have enjoyed every day of my life in planting. It's the
So, do
best
you
job.
think that's like a background for you to be successful? The trade has given you a certain.
Yes, trade has given me a lot of opportunities, and it has been very challenging. It is up and down. We have faced challenges, difficulties, but overall, today, unlike when I look back 40 years ago, we had different environment, political, economical, and social situation. Today is radically different, and today's planters are, I must say that they are very smart, they are very committed, and they do a committed amount of work. Specialty in plantation management is you're on call 24 hours of the day, 365 days of the year, and your services are not only to employees, to your whole community. We look after 1 million people, as in planting, we say from womb to the tomb, total system. And as a manager, you are responsible for their health, for their welfare, their food security, everything. And that's the legacy and the culture that we have inherited, because over the years, when the workers from India came to Sri Lanka for tea plantation work, they were managed by colonials or British planters. Both sets were aliens in a way, because and they had to depend on each other, and they had a symbiotic relationship which continues up to date.
So, what would your advice be to the new entrants or the younger generation that's stepping into this industry? How can your experience be projected for them?
Well, okay, unlike 40 years back when we started, the world has changed radically. Markets have changed, the workers have changed, preferences have changed, the political environment has changed. So first and foremost, we right now we give them a very sound training. Now, like in the traditional way. We have about 1 year of training before they get into a job. Like in the army, we have a training period, improve the quality of life of the people, improve the quality of work life. So there is benefits to the industry when our planters are very competent, committed, and are knowledgeable. So that's my advice to youngsters. Add value to yourself in any way you can, because that adding value is not a waste. End of the day, it has a return not only to the person but to the institution that he works and to the people that he is responsible for.
That is very enlightening. And we come to the closure of our session because this was so much knowledgeable, and I am sure that our viewers will be taking a lot of knowledge back with them. And talking to you, I think I learned a lot for just this little bit. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on our next session.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.